The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you again for joining us. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining in. If you're a regular listener, thank you so much. We appreciate it so much. Today, as always, we put together the best show possible with tremendous content designed to, like he said, entertain, inform, and even inspire. And on previous shows, we talk about it all the time, but we'll tell you the link to that is stewart.com/radio. That's right. You can hear and see this show as we make a YouTube video at stewart.com/radio. You can also see all the past shows. And if you do, you hear us mention, you hear me mention, and our guests talk about all the people that are moving into Houston. Yeah, we hear about all the folks coming from California. But people are coming from all over the United States, right here to Texas, but here to Houston, Texas. So if you are one of the people that have moved into Houston, the Houston area, we want to officially welcome you on behalf of Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. Thanks for coming to Texas, and thanks for listening to the show. And if you tune in on a regular basis, you'll hear all about the real estate market, and you'll hear about anything and everything that relates to the home. And it is about time to get down to business as we welcome Star Massing with Boulevard Realty. Star, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
And of course, I remember the song, You Don't Have to Be a Star to be in my show, and here you are.
Here I am. Thank you. I didn't know I'd have a song to introduce me, but thank you for that.
If I were a better singer, I would be singing that right now. That was a tremendous song, and here you are with a unique name that is probably serving you in a tremendous way in the real estate profession, Star Massing.
Yes, people remember it because it's easy to remember, and if you Google search Star Massing, you'll either come up with me or a constellation of stars in the sky. So.
And either way, that's
works.
A good situation. In fact, when I heard about you from Martha to be on the show today, I remember seeing, like you said, I remembered the name from an ad. I think it was in Paper City, or I saw you in some magazine, and I saw the name Star Massing, the little story about you, or the little bio, and then you're on the show. It's like I already knew you. So, first of all, let's tell people your company is called Boulevard Realty. Let's talk a little bit about Boulevard.
Yes. Well, Boulevard Realty is a boutique firm in the Heights. We're located in the Heights, but we specialize in the Inner Loop area. So we do sell occasionally out in the Woodlands or places like that, but it's mostly to bring clients in. So most of the work that we do is Heights, Montrose, Garden Oaks, Boulevard Oaks, those areas. Those are the areas that I specialize in as well.
In fact, I'm thinking about people that may be coming, as I mentioned, from outside of Houston, and they've heard about the Heights. And I'm going to guess in that case, especially a company like Boulevard and your expertise really shines because I would think people want experts on the Heights if that's where they're thinking about moving.
Yes, and Boulevard Realty, we're the number one selling agency in the Heights. Bill Baldwin is our broker, and he's one of the foremost speakers on the flooding in Houston. He's also on the City Planning Commission. So for me, that's a bonus because we're always learning about the flooding in Houston, which, it's very easy to avoid in the city if you are living in the right areas. And one of the things people don't realize is that the Heights is named because it's one of the highest areas in Houston. It's typically about 18 feet over the 500-year floodplain. And current building code is that you have to be 2 feet above the 500-year floodplain. I like that we're high and dry over there in the Heights.
Well, that's right. As I mentioned, people coming to Houston, one of the things, depending where you're from, but we get a lot of water. There's no question about it. Some of our just normal thunder showers just have massive amounts of rain. So anything anyone can do as far as they're living, a home, condo, high-rise building on the 5th floor, it's nice to be a little bit elevated.
Right,
Thus,
for sure.
It's nice to have the name The Heights to actually where you're actually higher in terms of elevation.
Absolutely. I get so many people that are here from out of town, and I love showing them around Houston and all of the different areas, Heights, Montrose, some of those other areas that I had mentioned. Yes, and we are high and dry, and one of the nice things in the Heights, too, is that you'll see a lot of homes on pier and beam, where if we do have high water, the water can flow in and out easily, and, so many of our wonderful bungalows, it's just a wonderful place to be. Yeah.
And it's a unique place here in the Houston area. And for those listening outside, it does have some distinctions. You're already mentioning the elevation, but it's known for porches, a lot of walkability. So if someone's listening, star on the internet, and maybe has not been to Houston and they're maybe thinking about coming here, let's tell them a little bit more about why they should consider the Heights. Porches, elevations.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of reasons to consider the Heights. When people come from out of town, I think they're just blown away by Houston and how green it is here. And when they come to the Heights, it feels like a small town inside of a big city. So you have a lot of front porch activity, people out walking their dogs in the evening. It's hard to be in the Heights and feel like you're not part of a community that's very close. The shop owners get to know your name. You see the same people every day as you're out walking about. The Heights biking trail is really a wonderful way to see the city. You can take the bike trail all the way to downtown and as far north as Acres Homes. It's a wonderful way to get around and really see the city. The Heights in particular, I've lived in for 30 years, and I was just telling one of your people here at the radio that what people don't realize is the train used to run right through the Heights, and it wasn't until about 98 that they took the train out. So you could hear it. It was very loud, and now it's a bike trail, which is wonderful. So when they took that out, it certainly changed the landscape of the Heights, I think.
There's a lot of history. There's a lot of great Houston history for the historians and people that want to learn about it in Houston and in the Heights. But one of the things that's going on, you can embellish this, as far as there's a lot of new things in the Heights, as in new construction, new stores, new restaurants. But let's tell people about some of the choices in the new construction realm. If someone said, okay, I want to live in the Heights, but I want new construction, what's to be had in the new construction world?
Right. Well, I work with
Homes
Gotham.
Or townhomes or whatever.
Yeah, I work with Gotham Development, who is a wonderful builder, and they build a lot of high-end homes in the 1.3 to 1.9 million range in Montrose and Heights. But they're also building townhomes in the Heights now, which are $399 and $525.
Hey, wait
a
minute.
Very
That
affordable in the Heights. Yes, and they're beautiful. I mean, high-end quality design. So you're seeing a lot of innovation from builders in the Heights because their, land is not easy to come by and it's very expensive. So, and in the historic districts, you can't really build in those areas, but outside, you can build onto those homes, but you can't really build there unless it's a vacant lot. And so the builders are trying to build so that it looks like the Heights, it feels like the Heights. I mean, the Heights has a look and feel that you see a lot of front porches, a lot of historic homes, and I think most builders are trying to be consistent with that look and feel.
Let's go back to that lower price point. Everything's relative, but $399.
Yes.
Well, let's even take $450. If someone had $450 and they said, Star, okay, I heard you on the radio. I want to buy something that is new construction for about $450,000. What can I get? So what can we get?
Well, I would say, you're looking at more of Brooksmith
it's a smaller
area.
home, I'm guessing. Okay.
Maybe townhome, Brooksmith, for new construction.
But it's still new.
Yeah, still new. And Brooksmith is just outside of the Heights. That's on the other side of Maine, other side of North Maine. So when I say the other side, the east side of North Maine, but before 45. And that area is vibrant. There's a lot of new construction over there. So you could get something in that area for that price range if you wanted new construction.
And let's say we upped it to, I have $750,000. What can we get there in new construction again, real quick?
Yeah, well, still probably
Still in that area.
in that
Right.
area. When you go into the Heights and you want new construction, you're looking at probably 900 plus.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
We have a new development coming up on 23rd Street, which is very close to 19th, and those homes are selling for $975, and you get about a 3,000 square foot piece of land, beautiful house, nice big backyard. Yeah, look close to everything.
when you're serving buyers and they're looking in your area, in the Heights area, or they're close by, how many times are you seeing buyers or they seek you out that are from other states?
All the time. Yeah, I'm working with
How do
somebody
they
right
find
now. I'm working with someone right now who's from Denver, and we have been looking at homes by FaceTime. We've been out, she's inspecting the homes, and as soon as she finds something that she loves, she will come here and see it, but probably will have it under contract before she actually gets here.
Because we have to move
Yeah,
fast.
so you have to move fast. I mean, it's a seller's market, so things go very fast, and buyers understand that. So if they see something they love, they'd better move quickly.
We're talking with Star Massing with Boulevard Realty. Star, you have recently, I think it is a distinction you've been written about. Tell us about some of your accolades, if you don't mind, because you've been in the magazine. Let's tell people.
So Paper City named me Realtor to the Arts, Architecture, and Design community. My husband is an artist in the fine art community. His name is Jack Massing. He was part of a duo called The Art Guys. His partner recently passed away, but they were together for 35 years creating art. And you can still see some of their work at University of Houston. They have the statue of Four Lies there at the airport. They have suitcases that light up at the Children's Museum. There's work. So it's through him, really, that for my involvement in the art community. And so through that, I think that we have a lot of friends in that community as well.
So that's a great referral for you in that world.
Sure. And also my love for architecture and the mod homes here in Houston. I think one of the things that people are always blown away by when they come to Houston is the architecture. I mean, we have amazing architecture here in the city. And I mean, even the downtown skyscape is just impressive and beautiful. And people are always surprised when they come here just how beautiful it is.
Well, now I have to ask, if your husband is in the art world like that, you have such an appreciation for the arts.
Sure.
I bet your home must have tremendous artwork and must be super cool inside.
I love our home, and it does have a lot of art. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
Let's tell people we have about another minute or so. What else do you want people to know?
Well, I just want people to know that if they come to Houston, they are going to be in for a nice surprise if they're coming from out of town. And it's just an amazing town. We have great restaurants. We have wonderful parks. You can be high and dry and live in Houston. People are often worried about our flooding, but it's a tremendous city.
It really is. Also, as far as new things, in terms of restaurants, I know there's a lot of stores that have opened there. How about a quick word on that as far as some of the eating places and things that are new in the Heights?
Well, Sophia Trattoria is a new restaurant in the Heights that I just ate at recently. Quite good.
Where's your favorite restaurant to go to? Top two that you and your husband may go to on a regular basis?
We go to Alice Blue quite a bit. It's over on 19th Street.
Atlas Blue?
Alice Blue.
Okay.
It's owned by Claire Smith, and it's a wonderful restaurant. We go there quite a bit. Squabble, that's one of the new restaurants in Houston, in the Heights. It's also delicious. We go there. For more casual dining, we go to Teotihuacan Mexican restaurant all the time, which is not new, but delicious.
All right, now that you've made everyone hungry, Star, let's tell them how to reach you.
Yes, so you can reach me at starmassing.com, or you can call me at 832-640-1628. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter just by looking up Star Massing. I'm the only one there.
And you're in a few magazines as well, so you have some great things there where people can learn more about you there. And the phone number for Star Massing is 832-640-1628. Thank you, Star, for being on the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Well, let's talk money right now with David Mitchell. He's with New City Mortgage. David, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me in.
Money's always, it makes the world go round. It's the lifeblood of so many things. First of all, David, let's tell people about your company, New City Mortgage.
New City Mortgage, we've gone from 6 employees to almost 50 within the last 18 months, aggressively pushing into 7 other states. And probably kind of what makes us unique is I think we're right-sized. We're just big enough to where we have a AAA rating with all of our investors, but we're small enough that we control all of our processing right here in Houston, Texas.
And let's tell people, your office geographically is located where?
We're right at 290 and Jones Road. If you look up and you see that huge blue water tower, we're right next to it. Very hard to miss.
And are there several offices here in Houston for New City, or
we have our main large office. It's there. Most of our loan officers are always out in the field working, attending functions, things like that. We do have sticks and bricks in a couple of other states that require that as part of licensing there, yes.
Well, let's tell people, as far as money, I mean, first let's talk about the process. If someone's thinking about getting a loan to buy a property, number one, when should they contact a mortgage company like yours, New City?
You know, as crazy as it sounds, I would say 6 months out before you're really even thinking about anything. And part of that is just because if there's anything that needs to be repositioned as far as assets, paying off debt, something that maybe shouldn't have even been on your credit report, we have plenty of time to address all that.
So 6 months, that's a good. Now, in the meantime, what should I have prepared if my wife and I or myself, if I'm going to buy a home, what kind of things are you going to ask me for or ask us for right off the bat so we can be extra ready?
Well, an application process is extremely easy. It's typically 5 to 7 minutes of your time.
Wow.
That's going to include, of course, a credit report pull. That's going to be key to everything. And then the documents that are required for a basic loan are pretty simple. Just the last 2 pay stubs, last 2 years' tax returns, and last couple of months of bank statements to make sure that you got the money in the bank for your down payment. And that's a pretty easy process.
That does sound very easy. And in the mortgage business, as you're providing loans, talking to people that are seeking loans, how many times, and talking to people as you're out at events and all those things, how many times a day does someone say, "Hey, Dave, what's the interest rate?"
Yeah, that's our favorite question in the business. I usually laugh by responding, "How much does a truck cost?" I'm going to need to ask a couple of questions to get a good answer to you on that. But it's going to be based on, of course, property type, what your credit is, how much you're putting down, several different things. So it's a pretty quick conversation.
So let's say someone has, what's the highest credit rating that you've seen, let's say, or one of the higher ones that you've seen?
Gosh, I've seen an 820 maybe this year, and I think I may have seen 3 credit reports this year that were over 800.
And 820 would be like really, really good.
Oh, yeah. It's rare.
So if someone has an 820, the top of the spectrum, let's say, and they're going to say, "All right, Dave, I want a loan for $500,000, and I'm putting 20% down. I got the top credit rating. As of today, what's your estimate about 3?
You're going to be in the 3s.
We're going to be in the 3s.
We're not in the 2s anymore. That's changed. Okay. Rates have started to go up.
Mm-hmm. So, and we don't know what's going to happen here. The show's broadcast. It's recorded. Who knows what it's going to be like next week or a minute from now. However, it's always fun to talk these kind of math questions, but also we're hearing, as far as interest rates go, that they're supposed to be going up this year. They're advertising it. So what is that true, and what's that doing to your business right now?
Well, they're definitely going up. I mean, the Fed has already stated they're going to raise rates 2 times, maybe 3. We're already seeing it on retail. The biggest place that I'm seeing is in investment properties right now. Those rates seem to have really taken a hit. But the spread on owner-occupied stuff, just, buying a house to live in, it's not that bad yet. I mean, people are saying, hey, that's a quarter a point, and then you look at it and you go, hey, that's a couple of bags of cheeseburgers every month. That's not going to stop anybody from buying a house. So it's still a fantastic time to get in now.
It's funny you mentioned that. That is exactly how I buy my cheeseburgers, by the bag, in case somebody was interested. So, again, getting hungry. So, in the meantime, as far as, but it's fun, the money business. You see, also, I got to go back to the credit score a minute. You've seen 820 is one of the higher ones. You've seen, where's the cutoff where you just can't make a loan? And what's the lowest credit score that you've seen, or one of the lower ones?
It's been rare that I've seen something below 500, but it is possible if you really go out of your way to try.
Yeah.
Typically for a good conventional loan, you're looking at something around 620. Do we have stuff at 580 and only 3.5% down FHA? Yeah, if you're willing to put down 10%, we can go down into the 500s on FHA. So we have a wider range of product. We have access to over 90 investors. So if there's a loan out there, we can typically find it for you. And we help people that are credit challenged all the way to people that have the very top tier scores that are buying jumbo loan size houses.
Well, just from the outside looking in, there's so many intricacies to the business, and I would think you have to really stay organized and also be able to provide someone the kind of loan that they need, because part of your job is, I would think, is consulting with the person to help them find the best loan for them and their family.
I'm glad that you hit on that, because one of the things I've said for years is that if the house is the most expensive thing you're ever going to write a one-time check for, and typically the largest expense you're going to have every month, how it's financed can have the absolute biggest impact on your overall financial health of anything out there. So it's not a one, product fits all. So we do go into great detail to make sure that loan is set up in the way that's most advantageous to each client.
So as far as business goes, the state of the market, if you were to say, how busy are you? Let's just say that. Swamped?
Yeah, it really hasn't let up. We went from, basically 7 times the amount of loans that the national industry could handle within a couple of weeks of COVID. Whoever would have thought this would have caused a boom, right? And it slowed down a little bit with the refinances, but statistically, 75% of the people out there that would benefit still have not refinanced. And there's so many people that have taken on a lot of debt during COVID, and we have the option a lot of times to pretty much give them their life back by erasing debt and rolling that into tax-deductible interest on their home, paying off that high-interest credit card debt, and really frees up cash flow. We're doing a lot of refinances now, we're helping people access the equity in their current home, and they're using it for that 20% down to get another investment property. So the investment property market is really, really hot, and there's a lot of things that can do just by looking at the assets that you have and restructuring them. So, yes, sir, we're staying very busy.
Let's give people an idea. Again, your profession has some intricacies to it. There's math involved. There's all kinds of loans. You're trying to help people. How do you, from a success principle, how do you handle this, especially with the volume of business you're doing now? How do you keep your business straight to be able to serve your clients?
Well, a whole lot of work has gone into just building the support system that we have at New City Mortgage. I've got the best office staff I've ever seen in 20 years. And we do have full-time loan analysis on there. So you have a loan officer that brings the loan in, and we're going to run that thing and get all the documents, make sure that it actually qualifies. We're not going to waste a realtor's time or risk anybody's earnest money. But we look at these things, and we really do go the extra mile to analyze it and see what is going to be most advantageous, whether their goal is to put the least amount of down, to have the lowest amount of payment, or whatever that, or pay it off the quickest, whatever their goal is.
Like the great author John Maxwell said, it takes teamwork to make the dream work, and without the right team, it could be a nightmare. So having that right team is just super awesome.
Yes.
Also, your owner of the company is named Chris
Bonin.
In fact, he was going to be here today if something happened. But let's tell people a little bit about Chris. You've been working with him for several years now.
Oh, gosh. Chris and I go way back. I was in wholesale when I first met Chris. This was in the early 2000s. Chris had just left his job at the Federal Reserve, decided that wasn't his cup of tea, wanted to go into mortgage, and it was a different world back then. And I remember thinking Chris was such a nice young man, I warned him not to go in the business. He's been wildly successful, of course, and glad he didn't listen to me on that one. But he's a fantastic guy. He's been a friend for 20 years. He really does have a heart for helping people and doing the right thing, and it's really been a blessing in our business.
Well, that sounds awesome. As far as the other things about your company that you want people to know, let's tell people. New City Mortgage, a lot of choices here in the world of Houston, third largest fourth largest city, but they say it's going to be the third. What are some of the other things people can expect from New City Mortgage?
Well, for one, we are 100% completely customer service driven. We depend on our referral partners. We tell our realtors, our job is to make you look like a rock star, and we pull through with that. We're aggressively recruiting people right now, and if I say that there's some things that are unique about New City Mortgage, I would say that we're right-sized. We're about a 50-person company, and we're just big enough that we have the best rates and 3-star, 5-star, whatever ratings with all of our investors. We have over 90 investors to choose from, so if there's a way to help somebody, we can. Our goal is to help more families buy homes. Being right-sized also means that we can keep all of our processing centrally located right here in Houston, Texas, and that's how we protect those service levels.
And you've been in the mortgage profession for many years. What is it about this business that keeps you excited every day, that you love?
I would say a lot of times it's just helping people do something that they didn't think that they could do. Several examples of that, recently, to where I helped somebody obtain a retirement dream, or helped a firefighter get into a house on USDA loan with no money out of their pocket, helped a disabled veteran get into a home with no money out of their pocket, even got their inspection and their earnest money back for them at the table. Just creative problem solvings and things that you can do that impact people's lives and help them get a roof over their head, which is not an easy feat right now in Houston with this market going crazy the way it is.
We're talking with Dave Mitchell with New City Mortgage. Dave, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know?
Just
call Dave.
Yeah. Dave Mitchell, 281-900-9859. If I'm awake, I answer it. David at newcitymortgage.com. Whether you're looking to buy, whether you're looking to refinance, whether you just want to have a 5-minute discussion and see what the rates and the power of refinancing or purchasing could do for you and your family, we're available for you.
In fact, there's probably people that how many people do you see that come from renting an apartment and they're getting the first loan with you? Does that happen a lot?
Yes, it's a lot. And there's a lot of people, sometimes I work with somebody 6 months to 2 years before we even get them to that point.
Time.
There's savings, there's credit repair. I recently had somebody say, you only need to save $20.40 a day to have $10,000 at the end of the year. But it's hard to save in this economy.
Dave, the number again is
281-900-9859.
Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me in. Enjoyed it.
When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, for informative and entertaining information when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate, tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance.
I say it all the time. I'm going to say it again, and that is stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer, especially right here in Houston. We have the A-plus team, and today, guess what? We have Rachel Saunders from our Friendswood and Pearland office, and yes, Susan Bottoms from Clear Lake. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill. Nice to be here.
Thank you, Bill, for having us.
It's been too long, but it's always great when you guys are back and we get to find out. Well, first of all, some people that don't know about our business development officers, they get to get an idea of what you do and our others do, and then find out what's going on in your area. So super fun is ahead. So first of all, Susan, let's tell people about your office.
I'm in the Stewart Title Clear Lake office, right off of 45 in the Webster area. And it's just, we're still like rocking the numbers every month. We're up 100 plus right now. And so we'll see what the end of, after today, what our actual numbers are. So it's like still rolling over there.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Rachel,
great.
you have two offices, Friendswood and Pearland. What's happening over there?
Oh, they are just working nonstop. Like Susan said, the orders are just coming in. They're working them, they're getting them out, and closing daily. So they're very busy, they're energetic, and they're ready to rock out 2022 for their realtors and lending partners.
And as we talk to realtors and mortgage professionals, people in the industry all the time on this show, what's interesting, and it comes to my mind, I'm thinking about this, is there's so much involved in the transaction, multiple offers, above list, all these things, and then it all comes together where? The title company at Stewart Title.
The final phase.
And my point is that our escrow officers are also have such longevity, and they're the best of the best, but they put this all together. Give us a word, Rachel, as you observe the people on your team and in your team, what's going on, and also for the novice that doesn't really know what happens at a title company, what's happening and how's it all come together so well?
Well, it starts with having an amazing team, which all of our offices have. They all have a great support team. And once they get in there, they're just communicating with the realtors or the lenders to whoever their client is at the time. And they're communicating with them and the buyers to getting them as a smooth closing as it can possibly be. There's a lot of digital services that they're able to offer, like we have remote online notary now. They made it easy by offering Zocam, which you can do digital escrow deposits.
The deposits. For that.
So there's just so many things they're doing to make it easier, but they are constantly working on their clients' files every day. I mean, it's come 5 o'clock, they're still there working. They're trying to make sure that they meet those deadlines for their clients and their customers.
And what's fascinating, so many details have to come together, and it has to be precise. It has to be correct.
There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of timing that needs to get done, but they're just amazing. I watch them work. I'm like, wow, y'all do a lot. There's a lot of moving parts. It's not just pushing a button and printing documents. It's a lot of other internal things that they have to do from point of getting the contract to the closing table. So.
Well, in your offices, let's name a name or two of some of the escrow officers doing this fine work.
Well, we have Deanne Andrus, which is at my Friendswood office, and Stacy Delarue, which they're both escrow officers. Deanne is our branch manager in our Friendswood office. And down in Pearland, I have Tara Hobbs and Melissa Wallace. And Tara is our senior escrow officer as well as our branch manager. And all four of them are amazing. They're working digitally. They're great at their communication and making sure that they explain to them and to the buyers how smooth it can be and what's all going on in the process. So when they get to the closing table, they're happy as they can be and they leave, which is what it needs to be. It's the last point of contact. So we're there to make our realtors and our lenders shine to their clients.
And I mentioned that because I hope they're listening, and I hope they know here on our show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, that we appreciate them and we are heralding their fine work day in and day out. Susan, let's tell people a little bit about your team and your fine escrow officers that are doing the same kind of high-quality work.
Exactly the same. I have Rhonda Trell, who has over probably 35 years experience, and she's really rocking out commercial real estate right now. And she's gotten so busy, she's got 2 processors on her team. So if anybody calls, there's no hesitation or we'll call you back or anything. Her processors know the files, and Rhonda knows the files as they come through. And the same with Kelly Schultz or Kelly Walker. She has 2 now processors on her team, and anybody that calls, everybody knows the files front and back. So there's no hesitation, call back, email back, or nothing. They're Johnny on the spot with responding right away.
And that's one of the most important things, too, the communication, because this is such a high-stakes event for people, whether you're the buyer or the seller.
That's right.
When you call, email, or you want a response right away because you have to know, right?
Yeah. I had an agent at our Ted Jones event come up to me, and she's like, Susan, I called 3 title companies, and Stewart was the only one that answered the phone. And
that's crazy.
She said the time the other 2 called her back, she said that Kelly had already given her the information that she needed. So she's like, that was just top of the line, remarkable for her.
That's amazing.
Well, we're professionals, and that's what needs to happen. I also want to go back to why I say stay close to your Stewart Title business development officer like Susan Bottoms, Rachel Saunders. And the reason is simple, because you also are a tremendous resource, whether a realtor calls you, a mortgage professional, they want to partner with you on something, or they have a question, you're there for that. But in addition, you guys are doing, and also the other ones, all the other business development people around the city and even beyond, you're doing events that are informative, continuing education, fun events to bring people together. Let's talk a little bit about that, Rachel.
Well, we do CE classes. We host them all the time. We do the basic legal ones, contracts, stuff like that. But we also do unique ones that will bring something different to the table, like new construction classes or even lending classes to help them understand what's going on. But we do have an upcoming event coming up this February on the 9th.
That's right around the corner.
Yeah.
It's a rebirth of what I used to do a couple of years ago. It's called Biz and Burgers, and we're going
Biz and Burgers.
We're going to do it monthly in each of our areas, and that way it's to bring the agents together. And we've recreated it to be more like a round table. So our sponsors will have a question and answer, and Rachel bought us a microphone for everybody to be able to speak and have questions asked and answered right there for all the agents that attend the event.
Yeah, we thought it would be a great opportunity to allow agents to come out, enjoy some food, but get questions answered. For example, what's going on in lending? What's going on with the survey? How is it affecting them? Because there's so many moving parts with all of the partners that we work with when it comes to home inspections, when it comes to insurance, when it comes to home warranties, when it comes to all those things and lending. And they need to be informed of how they can make it easier on them and their client during this whole process, so that when they do come to the closing table at Stewart Title, it's smooth as pie.
That's right. And because the speed of which transactions are happening, again, the intricacies by you all getting together offline, so to speak, and finding out what's going on each other, we're all better able to serve buyers and sellers, and again, have that closing be as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
That's a stroke of genius. Who thought of that?
Well, it was a couple of years ago what I had done.
Okay, then, Susan, well, you could take the credit for that then.
We just work together. If we want to spearhead something, we just go full force into it.
We brainstorm a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and this is a good time to also compliment our management. Guys like Justin Ramirez leading the team now in the sales, and Larry Warren to be able to empower all of us to get our job done, and not just me, you, business development people, but same thing with the escrow officers. I mean, that all happens from the top down. It's incredible how it works.
Yeah, we love it. Stewart's amazing.
So there you go, Biz and Burgers, February 9th. And I'm going to say it again, stay close. If you're listening to me and you're saying, well, I'm in Houston, but I don't know who my business development officer is, well, go to Stewart.com, find out who it is. Maybe it's Susan Bottoms, Rachel Saunders, and then stay in touch with them, because then you'll find out about things like Biz and Burgers. What else is and you just had the Ted Jones event. What else is coming down the pike?
Core classes and happy hours quarterly. Oh, redo it.
That's all right.
We're going to do core classes together. And
what's a core class?
Like there's CE classes, like Legal 1 and 2, if they need contracts, if they need ethics,
That's awesome.
whatever, that's what we brainstorm and try to see what is needed and required by the end of the year, or quarterly, or before their license is expired or whatever. So, and then we're going to also do quarterly happy hours, because those are also a big success for us.
Well, maybe one of these times I'm going to have to build myself up to be able to go to one of these brainstorming sessions, because I bet that's just something, huh, Rachel?
I love brainstorming. I think it helps us expand and grow and
creative,
get an idea, and then you're able, how can we include this and this? So it's amazing.
All right, before I'm going to be there. Before we close the segment, ladies, what else do you all want people to know, and then we'll tell them how to reach out to you.
If you need anything, just let Rachel and I know, or Jennifer, and we're there for your education. We're there for your, whatever events you may have. Just let us know.
And your number is?
832-851-7935.
That's 832-851-7935. You can simply Google Susan Bottoms, Stewart Title, Clear Lake, Rachel Saunders. What else should people know, and how can we reach you?
They can reach me by calling 832-418-4778, and also just consider Stewart Title on your next transaction.
We would be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction. Yes. One quick word. Somebody mentioned Jennifer Bradley. She's not here, but we do think about her from time to time. Let's tell people about Jennifer.
Jennifer, she's
pretty awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing. And she's in our League City and Texas City office. And she also is a part of our team with the events we've got coming up and the core classes. And then she's amazing.
Thank you all for being on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Susan Bottoms and Rachel Saunders. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is with Stewart Insurance, John Bramlett. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill.
Here we go. Insurance time again. Once again, people far and wide always love the insurance segment. What have you brought for us today?
Well, insurance companies look at elements that are being insured for you in different ways, and it's important to have a kind of a feel for how an insurance company would look at a specific type of insurance. So you get a better feel for what their considerations are, and ultimately would get a better feel for how you can go about making sure that you are properly insured. So I wanted to take a little bit of look at how insurance companies look at property. And then from that, what are the structures that are the elements that are part of a plan, and then what elements within that plan are relative to the different types of property.
So the insurance company, then, what is the perspective of the insurance company when they're looking at properties?
So they're going to look at it several ways. It's going to be homeowner occupied. It's going to be tenant occupied, vacant home, construction, reconstruction, or renovation, demolition, or vacant land. So those are the ones that they look at. Within that, if you take a look at kind of the basis that we would work off of would be a home plan. So in a home plan, you have the chances are you'll have some elements of the following. You're going to have structure, personal property, other structure, loss of use, liability, and medical payments. So, for example, structure is the home itself and any permanent built-ins. The personal property are the belongings inside the home, and that coverage is going to be a lesser percentage of the total coverage you have for the structure. You've got other structure, those are buildings that are not attached. So if you had a work shed in the back. However, if you have a garage that's not attached, but there's a breezeways that makes a connection, then from an insurance company perspective, that's an attached building. So again, that's going to be a lesser percent of whatever your total liability is. And again, that's going to depend on all of these from policy to policy. Loss of use, so that's money for temporary housing, is sometimes included in your plan. Medical, so that's for guests that would be hurt, not for your family. And then liability, so if you caused somebody bodily injury or you caused somebody property damage, or now we're starting to see on occasion sometimes personal injury added, which is you hurt my feelings. So, those are the elements.
Probably the worst thing.
Well, it can be in today's world, yes. And what that does is kind of gives us the framework then to look at what would be the elements if you had one of those specific areas of property that we looked at before. So, for example, if you're a tenant and you're renting a piece of property, so whether it be an apartment or a home, you're going to want to have personal property coverage to make sure that your stuff is covered. Potentially, you might be able to get loss of use. So if there's damage to the home you're renting, that you might be able to get some support when you're in temporary homes. Liability in case somebody gets hurt. And many times the person you're renting from, the lessor, is probably going to require that you have liability. And then potentially medical payments.
Well, with homes and people in homes, whatever the category is, insurance-wise, so many things could happen. And I had lunch with a good friend of mine who has rental properties. I think he has 2 fourplexes, they call them. And in one of them, he gets a call, water's coming through the ceiling. Then that's never good.
No.
And what happened was the person upstairs, their child left the bathtub running. The child was unattended. Water overflowed. $2,100 later. Now, I didn't ask him, but I will next time I see my buddy. Who paid the $2,100? Was that an insurance? Did he have the right policy? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But there's just one of the things that can happen when we rent things out, or if we leave children unattended near running water.
Well, absolutely. And, with it being an investment property, he's going to want to look at things like that structure, other structure. So, again, if you have investment property that has more than one building on it that's not attached, that's going to be a consideration. You want to talk with your insurance partner about any liability coverage. You want to make sure you have that. And then the medical payments, back to your friend, hopefully that they had a tenant that had liability coverage so that, he's got some help in that area. If you have, let's say, investment property, or you've got property that you're not using right now, that would be vacant home. And that could be something as simple as 30 days empty, could be as much as 90 days empty, depending upon the plan. There's also considerations whether it has furniture or not. That can affect the coverage as well. But for that vacant property, at least make sure you've got the structure covered, any potential liability in case somebody gets on the property and gets hurt, and then, if necessary, the other structure. If you're doing some construction on your home, so you've got construction or reconstruction, or they're tearing it down to the studs. Yes, remodeling. Have some structure coverage through maybe a builder's risk policy to help. And then if you have vacant land, many times folks say, well, there's nothing on the land.
What's to insure?
I'm fine. What's to insure? Yeah. Well, until a kid gets running across and falls and breaks their leg, steps in a hole. And having a fence doesn't preclude a suit. So it's important, again, to take a look at that. But I think it's interesting to understand how an insurance company looks at the things that they insure. Therefore, you can kind of get a feel for what you can and cannot consider.
You used a word a few minutes ago that I think applies to a lot of things. You mentioned the word framework. And I'm going to suggest that as we think about our own things that we need to have insured, homes, cars, businesses, those things, I think that's a good word to have the right framework. Having the right type of insurance builds the frame of our financial well-being, our nest egg, our net worth. It goes into play. I think it's very important because it all comes together because it has to do with dollars and cents. Be properly insured, basically, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. It's taking the time to understand what you are willing to take on from a risk perspective, how much risk you would like to place on the insurance company, understanding what you can and cannot afford, and then ultimately understanding what coverage you do and don't have. And as long as you understand that, and you understand the decisions you've made and why you've made those decisions, then in our eyes, you are properly insured. The ones that are disappointing is when something happens and coverage is not there, and we didn't realize why, or we assumed that there was going to be coverage. Those are the ones that are disappointing, and we find that somebody didn't make the time to visit with their advisor to truly figure out that they are or not properly insured.
You need to know on the front end, and I'm sure Stewart Insurance, other insurance companies get the call when something happens. Hey, is that covered? You need to know that up front just to have a peace of mind so that if you do have to come, it does have to come out of your pocket. Well, you know that it's not as bad.
Well, exactly.
Right?
We had
that covered?
I was teaching a class last week for a Stewart Title office in Northwest Houston. And one of the guests had a question about Airbnb coverage, that either they have a client that does Airbnb or they were doing.
Yep.
They have their own property. And while I wasn't able to give them the answer, I was able to find out that answer for them that day. And it allowed them to realize, all right, I can get coverage, but it's going to be a narrower field or opportunities within, because not everybody wants to do those short-term leases. So it's available, but again, need to speak with somebody that's got some experience in the industry like Stewart Insurance and our folks on the Property Lines team.
And before we close this segment, John, what else should we know?
Well, we're growing. We're always looking for great people. Right now, we would love to add a commercial lines professional, so a person that can come and work with our commercial lines, our business clients, to help them become properly insured. So if you're a licensed agent that you enjoy or have a passion for commercial insurance or would like to learn more about it, we'd love to visit with you. And you can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827.
And if someone's east of the Mississippi, what's the phone number?
866-798-2827.
West of the Mississippi.
866-798-2827.
John Bramlett, Stewart Insurance. Thank you, John, for being on the show.
Bill, always a pleasure.
And as we wind up the show, she is back, Star Massing with Boulevard Realty. Hey, Star, welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, here we are. What a show. It's been tremendous. Thank you for being here. You don't have to be a star to be in my show, but we're glad you're Star Massing. Star, what else should people know about you, Star Massing, or Boulevard Realty?
Well, please call me if you are getting ready to sell a home or purchase a home. I'd be happy to help you. If you're looking inside the loop, Heights, Garden Oaks, Montrose, any of those surrounding areas.
And what's great is you are an expert on the Heights. You live there. You've been serving with Boulevard for many years. So
Absolutely. I understand the historic districts.
And a lot of history there. I think we piqued curiosity for people that may not know much about the Heights today, maybe just a little bit.
Great.
And the phone number is?
832-640-1628.
Give her a call at 832-640-1628. He's back. Dave Mitchell, New City Mortgage. Hey, Dave, what else should we know?
You know, if you're looking to buy a home, refinance and accelerate the accumulation of equity, pay off debt, invest in properties, we're there to help you. And also just like to say that if you know any great loan officers out there that may be unhappy because they don't have the product, they don't have the rates or service, we're looking for good people as well. So if they could give me a call, 281-900-9859. And once again, thanks so much for having me on the show. Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, Dave, thank you so much. 281. You can call Dave over there. New City Mortgage, 281-900. I like how that flows. 900-9859. New City Mortgage. Don't forget, reach out to Susan Bottoms, Rachel Saunders. Stay close to your Stewart Title business development officers, and we would be honored whether you're listening here in Houston, Texas, or anywhere outside, as Stewart is an international company. We would be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction, whether it's residential or commercial, anywhere here in the United States. Thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. On behalf of me, your host, Bill Knapik, John Bramlett, Tom Carpentier, Larry Warren, Justin Ramirez, we appreciate you listening. If you want to hear and see this show, simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. That's right. You can see the guest and hear the content once again. So we'll see you next week. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Tell your friends. Once again, stewart.com/radio. Thank you.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, for informative and entertaining information when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate, tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance.